Ravilochana Prabhu, can we make me as the host?
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, can we start, Prabhuji? Are we okay,
Prabhu? Yeah, sure.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very fortunate to have the association of our temple president, His Grace Narahari Chaitanya Prabhu, who will be sharing the nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter number 30, sloka number 9 and 10, titled The Activities of Prachetas. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Over to you. I will share the slokas now, Prabhuji.
Okay, before sharing your slokas, I'll tell you when to share.
Okay, Prabhuji.
I mean, it can be there on board, no problem.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namavam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulam Gayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Mande Shri Guru Dina Dadinam Paramananda Madhavam Chaitanya Ishwaram. I thank one and all giving me the opportunity to be with you all on a discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. So Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, actually established by Srila Prabhupada, is a transcendental program for one and all. Just like we honor the transcendental Mahaprasadam, transcendental Kirtan, transcendental association. So many things are transcendental what Srila Prabhupada gave us. The same thing about Srimad Bhagavatam, which is also transcendental. One aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam is also like honoring prasadam. Honoring prasadam through the mouth we take, but Srimad Bhagavatam honored through the ears. But we should make sure it goes to the heart, not to the mind, which can pollute it. So Nityam Bhagavata is a very sacred learning and teaching program initiated by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. He was so clever, so intelligent. So early in the morning, he is giving the nectarian thought process of how one can become a human being. So in this regard, there is a sloka by Prahalad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 5th chapter, 12th verse, where the demonic and illusion mentality, which has been actually completely occupied the whole world, that is because of illusion. So Prahalad Maharaj says, we are sometimes becoming enemies, sometimes becoming friends, sometimes becoming relatives, sometimes becoming... So this is going on. Dehatma buddhihi. So this is totally a perverted, which smashed by Srila Prahalad Maharaj in the Bhagavatam. Deha Sambandha, Atma Sambandha. We have to differentiate between these two things. So Prahalad Maharaj is smashing that. He says in the Bhagavatam to his father, why are you differentiating between you, me and others? I do not see like that. I see that Krishna is everywhere and Krishna is friend of everyone. So this is a very important point. Sri Prahalad Maharaj is speaking through Bhagavatam 7.5.12, where he clearly is explaining that how we are supposed to see people around us, how we are supposed to see this world, how we are to relate with this world, everything, how everything can be engaged. And that mercy has come to Srila Prabhupada. He is giving us the same vision through our ISKCON. And, the overall aspect today, anybody comes in and takes shelter of Srila Prabhupada's mission, he starts visualizing, understanding exactly who am I? What is my relation in this world? So it actually awakens that to question oneself, who am I? Huh? What am I doing? So this process actually is very important, that establishes the Siddhanta by an Acharya. So Prahlad Maharaj says, Sa yaduna vartate pumsam pashu buddhir vibhadyate anya yesa tatantoham iti bheda gatasati. When Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with a living entity because of his devotional service, I'm highlighting this point. When Supreme Personality of Godhead, later on I'll relate with Prachetas, when Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with the living entity because of his devotional service, one becomes a Pandita and does not make distinction between enemies, friends, and himself. So intelligently he thinks. So where is this intelligence coming from? Dadami Buddhyam, which Srila Prabhupada emphasizes from the Prachetas purport. So every one of us has to look at this aspect, that I'm a servant of God. Therefore, we are not different from each other. When we are all colleagues working in the same company, some designation changes, but we are all the same people. The moment we come out of our offices, we are all the same. So each one is given a kind of a service which he can execute. So Prahlad Maharaj is talking about this. He's telling that demoniac father, how intelligence has been polluted. So this is where we have to understand the point of what Bhaktivedanta Swami is infusing all of us, that how we can make our life successful as Prachetas, as Prahlad Maharaj, as so many examples are there. So this is above the Dehatma Buddhi. We have to differentiate between this Sambandha Jnana, relationship with the body, which is also true, but relationship when it arises from the Atma, that is actually facilitated by the spiritual master. So Bhagavatam and the Bhagavatam Acharya, so these two are very, very important. So when Srila Prabhupada is translating the Bhagavatam, the Bhaktivedanta purport are the which will help us to understand. So what exactly is, we understand the amount of austerities did by Hiranyakashipu, but ultimately the realization was something else. So here Prachetas, the 10 sons of Prachanyabhari, so what did they do? His father came and told him, please, you go and practice austerities and expand this progeny, which is pleasing to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prachetas perfectly follow the father and dedicated, and they did their best for 10,000 years. They did practice. But the difference between these between the Prachetas performing these 10,000 years and and what was their consciousness, and Hiranyakashipu, who was also performing the austerities, and what was his consciousness? What was he thinking about? What does he want? What does Prachetas want? The difference is very clear. Prachetas just wanted to fulfill the duties given by the parents. Here, Hiranyakashipu, he himself thought that why I cannot become bigger than my father. Even though he was worshipping Brahma, whom he accepted, okay, everything is coming from him. But when Brahma appeared, he was asking something better than him. So if somebody doesn't have something and you go and ask him, you give me that what you want, and what can he give you? So right from the Bhagavatam, you can know there were people at that time who were misled by so many things. That is again Dehatma Buddhi. But here Prahlad Maharaj is speaking about, no, we are all same. We are all coming from the same product. Only the thought process or realizations are different. So Prachetas, They did so much of practice of 10,000 years, sitting inside the water, and Lord Shiva comes. So this is the triggering factor. In everyone's life, if a pure devotee comes, our whole life changes. So when Lord Shiva spoke about the Gita, so what happened there? The potatoes completely got transformed. So Vishnu Puran also talks about this. When Lord Vishnu was pleased with the austerities performed by Prachetas. Now, austerities at that time, Vishnu was pleased by 10,000 years sitting inside the water and they were meditating on. But now Yuga Purusha, now what is that? Our austerity is practicing 4 hours of Krishna conscious process. Keeping ourselves 16 rounds chanting, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, getting up early in the morning, taking association. These are our austerities. With these austerities, having Krishna Prasadam so tasty. So you can see how Krishna conscious Prabhupada made it so easy for us. Yes, there is little austerity. You have to get up a little bit early. But at the same time, all this is there. But also you have to keep your heart open to understanding that Dehatma Buddhi is limited to this world. You have to look at that science of self-realization, which Srila Prabhupada started his book, where it triggered off for every one of us, and today what we are here. Now let's go to the Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 30th chapter, 9th verse. What does it say? You can put that sloka there. Yo nusmarati sandhyayam yushman aniruddu naraha tasya vrattasva atma samyam tata bhuteshu suridham. We'll take the next sloka later. I'll go to the word-to-word meaning in the next one. So the Lord continued, those who remember you every evening of every day will become friendly with their brothers, with all other living entities. See, this is a point which is coming from this translation, is that I just talked about what Prahlad Maharaj is talking about. So look at everything is so related and it is going in the parampara understanding. So there is no differences by the parampara when we go, that each acharya speaks, it actually complements. So when it is complementing, so what is that we have to take? If father is telling the same thing, if the mother is telling the same thing, if the brothers are telling the same thing, if friends are telling the same thing, you have no other go. Oh, okay, this is what it is. We accept the fact as it is. So now he says, become friendly with their brothers. Now 4:30:10. Let's go there. Hetyumam Rudra Gitena Sayam Prata Samahitaha Suvanti Aham Kama Varnam Dasye Prajanam Cha Sobhanam. That means here, ye, those persons who but mam unto me, Rudra Gitena, by the song sung by Lord Shiva. Who is Lord Shiva? He is nothing but Vaishnavanam Ythashambhu, greatest personality of Lord, who is so transcendental, who is also completely renounced. And he is and most compassionate person who is embracing everybody irrespective of what they are standing in. Sayam in the evening, Prataha in the morning, Samvitaha being attentive, Stuvanti offering prayers, Aham, I, Kama Varnam, all benedictions to fulfill desires, Jasya shall award, Pragnam, intelligence, Cha, also Shobhanam, transcendental. The translation goes like this. It says, those who will offer me the prayers composed by Lord Shiva, both in the morning and the evening, will be given the benediction by me. In this way, he can fulfill their desires, attaining good intelligence. Now the point what the last word is making, good intelligence. Now Prabhupada defines what is exactly intelligence is. So he says, purport, he says, good intelligence means going back to home, back to Godhead. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Tesham satata yuktanam vajadam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upriyanti te. My dear friends, listen carefully. Now what is going, how this is emphasized by Srila Prabhupada, how it goes into our heart. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. The one who offers prayers to the Lord to fulfill his different desires must know his highest perfectional fulfillment of desire is to go back home, back to Godhead. Now, 2 points. What did the prayers or the tapas done by Hiranyakashipu? He got it from Brahma. Maybe he wanted eternity that he didn't get. But he used his intelligence. So his intelligence was thinking, okay, if I find a way to, make even Brahma under illusion and give the varam or the desire what he was seeking for. So he used his intelligence. But here, intelligence is completely different. So what is Srila Prabhupada is talking about? Desire to go back home. Now the desires of prachetas, what is their desire? Just to fulfill desires of their parents. Prachinibari said, please expand the progeny. That is required. So in this verse, it is indicated, those who remember the activities of prachetas, the son of Prachinibari, will be delivered and blessed. So what to speak of sons of Prachinibari, who are directly connected with Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada is talking about what to think of. So many people are just going through, they are getting, and people who are following King Prachinibari, who are an integral part of the Supreme Lord. So he's telling what are their chances, 100%. So this is the way of Parampara system. So if we follow the Acharyas, we attain the same benefit of our preserves. Now I'll just take some example from Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami gives us 4 steps of practicing sadhana bhakti. What he says, Guru Prasad Padarshayas Tasmat Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam Visrambhena Guru Seva Sadhu Vartanam. That means to say, he is talking about Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Kindly note 1.2.74. What he is telling? The first point he says, submission to the feet of Guru, the spiritual master. Second one, receiving training from him in the spiritual initiation and practicing regarding how about Krishna consciousness. The third one is serving the spiritual master with affectionate zeal. And the fourth one is following in the path of saints. Now look at Srila Prabhupada's life or his disciples' life, what all he did. See, this is how we can mold our, strengthen our heart. When somebody whom you're loving, somebody whom you're approaching, what did he do? So here, unless we meditate on those things, we'll not be able to practice Krishna consciousness the same way. So submission to the feet of Guru, what did Srila Prabhupada do? He was totally surrendered to Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Thakur. So he got Diksha from him. He started Krishna consciousness. Then he served his spiritual master with that zeal. So if that zeal is not there, today ISKCON would not be there. And not only that, he fulfilled the following the path of saints of previous acharyas. So the whole entire Krishna conscious program, especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you can see how Srila Prabhupada fulfilled it. So unless we take this seriously into our heart, it is very difficult to make progress in Krishna consciousness. This cannot happen when we are always relating with the Deha Sambandha. Always relating with Deha Sambandha, which means people who are related with our blood, we are always looking at that. That means we are serving them as much as going on. But there is limitation for us. It is a relative. How long we are going to go on like that? So when the same relationship, he goes through the spiritual master, it becomes Atma Sambandha. Even though Atma Sambandha, it is completely absolute. So everything is same. You just go back to what Prahlad Maharaj, he completely respected his father. He may not have accepted what he learned from respected what his father had learned or what his father was training. So that is, but still a relationship we maintain. So in this Prakriti, when we are all there, we respect our relationship, but the relationship is to be understood that it may go off someday. So before that, we understand that Atma Sambandha, where Srila Prabhupada as an Acharya, which through the Srimad Bhagavatam purports or Bhagavad Gita or Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can easily transcend that relationship to the absolute thing. So when you become, when you start understanding this absolute reality, then every action of yours will be in Sirdam Sarvabhutanam. That means you become friend of everything. You will always relating everything what your Guru wants, what your Parampara wants, what Krishna wants. So again, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 17th chapter, 27th verse, I'm highlighting why Acharya is so important, why Prachetas following their parents are important, and what is the position today we are in, how much we are related with Srila Prabhupada's thought process, how much we are using our own intelligence. So these are all things for us to meditate on. So now coming back to one point, I will go back to the transcendental prasadam. Bhagavatam is also like that. Bhagavatam is a transcendental prasadam. We honor certain things, we also remove it out. So when you are honoring prasadam, you are sitting, there will be so many things which you don't want. You will remove it and keep it out. And you may throw it off. In the same way, when we are sitting in the Srimad Bhagavatam class, you should be also use your intelligence to see what you are learning. But here you have to remove things from anartha, which is from your heart. You have to remove, oh, this is not in tune with it. So this anarthas, which is grossly, which is subtly sitting in our heart, has to be removed or it has to be diffused. Because some other anarthas are so strong, it is very, very difficult. You have to put acid, like some trees you cannot, they keep coming. So this is very, very important. When you are sitting in the Bhagavatam class, there is a plate in front of you. The speaker is representing the parampara. He's sharing his thought process. Make yourself, your ears sharp enough to hear things and don't miss out anything. At the same time, meditate on your heart what anarthas are there. Slowly removing things. How the envy can be removed. How the understanding the relationship which is relative, which is absolute. We have to remove that, or we have to make sure we are going in the right direction. So this is what now Srila Krishna is speaking out in the Bhagavatam. One should know the Acharya as myself, never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking he is an ordinary person, for he is the representative of all the demigods. So this person, and Prabhupada speaks the purport, Krishna himself is telling that he is questioned by Uddhava regarding the four social orders and spiritual order of society. He was specifically instructing how a brahmachari should behave, how a grahastha should behave, how vanaprastha should behave, how we should care our spiritual master. The spiritual master here is highlighted, he is Atma Bandhu. He is nothing to do with Deha Bandhu. He is the one who will separate our Deha, which is material, and gives us a spiritual body. If you are so much attached to, our parents, just because they have given us life, just one life, how much we should be obligated to a person who is giving us eternal life? So this is Krishna conscious program. This is how we have to make. So without, he is like a parent. Prabhupada says a spiritual master is not an enjoyer of facilities offered by his disciples, but he is like a parent. Without attentive service to his parents, a child cannot grow to manhood. Similarly, without care of a spiritual master, one cannot raise the plans of transcendental service. So the conclusion coming from this purport is how important is the spiritual master, what he speaks, what the Shastras is coming out today, and what kind of practices he is doing, what kind of instructions he is doing. Everything is absolute. But That doesn't mean we are negating anything material. We have to perform, but we have to cordon off how much of this relative relationship can extend. If you don't look at that, then it becomes the whole world is the big problem for us. Everywhere we are having new friends, wherever we go, then old friends go. So this keeps going. Why one has to look at this aspect is he gets this intelligence to make sure what kind of relationship that I am benefited. So in aspiring devotees, we are all aspiring devotees, unless we take shelter of the spiritual masters and his instructions, then we'll be doing the same mistakes. Spiritual master is not a person who we are just having for a fashion. It is that we are giving our life to them. When we are getting married, husband and wife, we are taking a pledge in front of the fire where I'm going to help you, I'm going to support you. The wife says, the husband says same thing. But after some time, what is happening? Yesterday, the Supreme Court made a note, so it's come in papers also, clearly said the love marriages, most of the love marriages yield in divorces. It's not my word. Supreme Court says yesterday. So the point is you have to understand from the Bhagavatam, you can easily make out. Anybody says, oh, you please read the Srimad Bhagavatam, there will be no divorces. Huh? So very simple. Today, whatever the world, however they are going, their thought process is all mixed up. Some people give good thoughts, some people give intelligent thoughts, some people, so many things are happening. So this mix and match is making us totally confused. So a person, Brahmanda Bhamite Pone Bhagyavan Jiva. Yeah, please, this sloka you can refer to yourself. Guru Krishna Bhaya Bhakti Lata Bija. Somehow we come and fallen off in the lotus feet or Srila Prabhupada and this Karan. Now if you don't use it, what will happen? So here, two types of intelligence are there. One intelligence is developed and the other one is intelligence is there, but it's not developed. So here sadhu sangha matters. So when you meet that intelligent person, when an unintelligent person meets that intelligent person, what happens? That keeps changing. So whole of Bhagavatam is nothing but that. If by chance we get association of devotees, that's what happened to Prachetas. He got the association of Lord Shiva and see the whole thing change for them. So if by chance getting association of Manajana, then what happens? I'm the most fortunate person from unfortunate situation. Now I have become fortunate. So whatever material enjoyment is there, slowly transcend to Krishna conscious enjoyment, and we will enjoy everything as Guru wants, as Krishna wants. Who can match the bliss of devotees enjoying in the spiritual world are here? Enjoyment is the same. But one is absolute, one is temporary. So this initial association with a great soul, that is where every day you get up and go to the deities and thank him, with gratitude. Thank God you gave me Srila Prabhupada. Thank God you're giving me association of devotees. Thank God I have got a holy name. And so many thanks you have to go on giving. They will all celebrate on Thanksgiving, Father Day, Thanksgiving, Mother Day, and all that. Here, every moment you have to thank giving our Guru. Every kshana, we have to be acknowledging Krishna. Thank you very much. Who is doing this? By good fortune, somehow we have made this up. This faith has been awakened with us. So now we are making progress in devotional service. But the point, what I'm trying to say is that when you're going in through this, unless you don't remove the anarthas or diffuse the anarthas, we will be saturated. You may be reading many things. Your knowledge also is, expanding. Many good things you may be doing, but still it's not absolute. So this is essential for us to follow as much as possible the instructions given by Srila Prabhupada and how to go forward. So now Srila Prabhupada is talking about what type of guru one should take shelter of, and how it is explained in the Shastras. So continuing in that purport, Prabhupada giving wonderful, again listen attentively. He says, if one follows the decision of Arjuna, he should be considered directly hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So today you're sitting in the Bhagavatam class, in the temple, here, anywhere. Anybody representing and talking of Srila Prabhupada, what he is doing, he is non-different. So there is no difference between hearing Bhagavad Gita directly, the Supreme Lord, or following the personality like Arjuna. So why can't we also extending that? Why can't we think Srila Prabhupada also is like that? Why can't his followers be like that? Because there is also Pratyaksha Praman, some changes in our life. If the changes in life, if it is not increasing, there is some problem could be with us, not with the system. So correction has to be made within ourselves rather than looking at why am I not progressing. Yeah, thinking that way is fine. But if the attempt is not made to remove the weeds which are there of Labha Pratishtha, it is very difficult. So sometimes foolish people argue that Krishna is not present at that moment. One cannot take direct instructions from him. Such foolish people do not know there is no difference between directly hearing from Bhagavad Gita or reading it as long as one accepts Bhagavad Gita spoken by Lord. So that's why Srila Prabhupada called it as it is. So if one wants to understand Gita by his imperfect interpretation, one cannot possibly understand the mysteries of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, even though one may be a great scholar, that's why today how many people are reading Bhagavad Gita? What is their destination? What is their consciousness? How they are behaving? You can easily make out Pratyaksha Praman. Again, Srila Prabhupada emphasizes in the purport in the 4th, 24, 19 of the same canto. Prabhupada says, it is the duty of the father, the spiritual master, and the king to regulate their subordinates in such a way they ultimately become fully unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Lord. I'll repeat it again. It is the duty of the father, the spiritual master, and the king to regulate their subordinates in such a way that they ultimately become fully unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Lord. That is the duty of the superiors. And it's the duty of the subordinates. Look at the other point. Subordinates to obey their orders perfectly in a disciplined way. Now you can decide for yourself. You can judge yourself. Sometimes you say, so many things, I don't know where I am. So here it is very clearly speaking about, you listen to this, afterwards you find out whether are you following in that direction. What is the difficulty in this? So here Prabhupada is talking about the word Shirasa on their heads is also significant. For the Prachedas accepted the order of their father, carrying them on their heads, which means they accepted them in complete surrender. So this is where our crux of Krishna consciousness is. So if you have to make progress in this life, you have to look at whether we are trying to go in the framework given by our gurus, given by our acharyas, or by our shastras. So all this is there. That's why another quote I'm giving from Skanda Puran, it talks about that kind of a determination. So you have to be determined when executing your services. It says, Samagya Shreyas Hetuhu, Pantaha Santapa Varjitaha, Anvantapa Shraman Purve Yen Santa Pratistare. One should strictly follow the easy path. He says, easy path which previous Mahajanas have accepted. Why do you want to make your own road? They've already made the road. Beautiful road, please drive there, but make sure you're driving, you're sitting in the driving properly, you put your seat belt. What is the seat belt? Nothing but making sure that you're going in the direction what Acharya is asking. Don't pick up things which you don't want. So the path bestows a great auspiciousness, is devoid of all misery. So now, devoid of all misery means, that means you're already in the transcendental world. What is transcendental world means? When you think, this world does not belong to me. Everything belongs to Krishna and Guru. I'm just a custodian. So anything happen up and down, you will not be bewildered. This is what it is. By discussing the path of previous sadhus, so one gets this determination and courage and satisfaction. So when we are making as a sadhana bhakti, when you are progressing, this is very much required, that sthita pragnata, We have to, that 10 minutes, the 15 minutes, or the 1 hour in sitting in the Bhagavatam class, or the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, or taking association, you have to be Drida. You have to be Drida Vrata. Don't compromise there. A little compromise means you may miss out something. So there are things which you have to. You can't sit in the Bhagavatam and plan what is happening in your house. You can't sit in the Bhagavatam class and sitting about something else. So in the same way, you can't misconnect things. So here it is very necessary, by discussing the path of the previous sadhus, one gets determination, courage, and satisfaction. But all this comes provided you are awakened. If you sleep, what will happen? The sleep I am talking about is ignorance. So when we discuss this path of service, now we have to look at what Rupa Goswami, what Sanatan Goswami, what Raghunath Goswami, what Haridas Thakur. Here one point I would like to highlight of Haridas Thakur's determination. When the Mohammedans, they tortured him like that. He says, Kanda Kanda he deha yadi prana, tumi ami vandana na chadi harinama. Ye sabe jive re Krishna, karaha prasada, mora droha naha, ye sabar aparada. He says, even if my body is cut into pieces, I lose my life, I will never give up chanting of the holy name. Oh Krishna, please be merciful on these poor souls. Kindly excuse them for their offense of torturing me. So look at this, how Haridas Thakur is speaking about. We don't have to cut. Nobody is talking us to cut all this. Nothing is of that kind is happening to us. We have a simple problem is our desires are misdirected. Our knowledge is misdirected. We are identifying certain things. So Bhagavatam is there to help us. Devotees are there to help us. Mahajanas are there to help us. So this distortion can go. This distortion will go, provided you have the approach. Even if a child does not cry, mother will not know whether it's hungry or not. In the same way, every day you are making progress in the material energy, whatever it is. Suppose if they don't give you salary, you look for another job. In the same way, Krishna Conscious program is that you should always evaluate yourself. Are we making progress or not? If there is some difficulty, we have to approach our Shiksha or a Diksha or whatever it is and ask them, Prabhu, I'm not making progress. What's happening? Please help me out. So if you don't go on, plead, then in this pleading, even though if you don't learn, also Krishna is happy. Because we are in the association of devotees. So Krishna consciousness is a great opportunity, we all have got. How to take it forward is in our hands. But that 0.11% of our endeavor, Krishna fulfills 99.9999% Krishna will fulfill. That 0.1% of our endeavor is sufficient. So I have 5 minutes to conclude. So Krishna reveals of surrendered bhakti cannot be propagating without Krishna's empowerment. What I'm trying to say is, if Krishna today, we have got ISKCON because Krishna is blessed. Krishna blessed, so we got Srila Prabhupada. And in this progress, sadhana bhakti, there are difficulties. But these difficulties are not what got by Haridas Thakur or Prachetas or so many other people who had to sit. What about Prahlad Maharaj? His own father is trying to kill him. So we don't have all of that. But we are, our anarthas are only coming from that distorted desires. So desires will be there, but the desires become detrimental to our own success or failure. Then we are, not in the safe hands. So Krishna is revealing, bhakti cannot be propagated. So without Krishna's endearment. So what does Lord Chaitanya say? Kale Kali Kale Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtana Krishna Shakti Vina Naha Dava Paravartana. So without being especially empowered by him, one cannot manifest ecstatic love for Krishna, because for he is the only one who awards that ecstatic love. This is the verdict of revealed scripture and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in conclusion from the Bhagavatam, what he says, if Brahma, the creator of the world, who has created lifespan, what is his lifespan? some 300 odd trillion human years. But he came and he saw Nandana, Sri Krishna, and he bewildered. He could not make out who is this person is. So after looking at that, he comes with his own prayers. He says, Janananta eva janantu kim bhukyata name prabho manaso vipaso vacho vibhavam thava gocharaha. The gokaraha. That means people, there are people who say, I know everything about Krishna. Let them think that way. As far as I am concerned, that is Brahma. I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. Oh my Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulence are concerned, they are beyond my reach, because my mind, body, and words. So this is the conclusion of Brahma. Now you can decide how to go about. Yes, I will end my rest the case today, whatever has to be spoken. And I think I'm in tune with the timing. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'm open for reflections from each and everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you for the very nice class. I think some of the key points or what you mentioned is about real intelligence. And it's very important to follow the parampara, the importance of being in parampara, because we will attain the same benefits as our predecessors. And the importance, the role of spiritual master. And if our parents, if we are indebted to our parents who gave this body only in this life, and the spiritual master who is giving eternal life, how indebted we should be, and the importance of following the instructions of our spiritual master. And also you mentioned about the Krishna's mercy and Prabhupada's mercy, who has actually simplified the austerities. Prachetas, they were performing austerities for 10,000 years under the water, but Prabhupada has simplified it. What we need is 4 hours per day by getting up little early in the morning, reading Bhagavatam, chanting our rounds. And also you finally mentioned that if we take one step, and Krishna will be pleased and he will actually empower. Without Krishna's empowerment, nothing happens. It's a very brief summary, and I unmuted the lines of devotees. You may please share your reflections or comments that you may have.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, the excellent class. As usual, your classes are very, very practical. Like you told the point, Prabhu, in the Paramatma is the same in every one of us, whether you are a clerk, you are an attender, or you are the CEO or something, it does not matter. I had a very nice experience when I was working in Kim's College. Once the attender, I just called him and said, "Salpa illi clean madi." Then he said, "Amma, the way you tell is so different from the rest of them. Because you are educated, you are sitting in the chair, but I'm not educated, I'm doing this job. But the same blood is there in you and me." So, that is his understanding. But very nicely you explained about the Paramatma in all of us. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Prabhu, that Rupa Goswami's reference, I just missed that Bhakti-rasam Sindhu. Can you please give the reference, Prabhu?
Sure. Nectar of Devotion. 1274.
Okay. I noted correctly. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the wonderful Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Gaurachandra Gopinathas here.
Yes.
Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu. One takeaway for me is that sometimes we ritualistic attend the Bhagavatam as a tick mark saying that, yeah, this is part of devotion service, but it really benefit for us, irrespective of who are the speaker, as you mentioned, they are representing the parampara. So there is something always take away, whoever, irrespective of the speaker. Sometimes we biased hearing, okay, this devotee, okay, or it becomes ritualistic, even though still we want to hear, but there is no transformation. So that's because, we don't see the things as what you mentioned. So that's a key takeaway for me.
Very good.
Hare Krishna devotees, any other reflections or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandas Pranams. So this, the aspect of what, kind of clarified a lot of things for me was when you were speaking about how we need to pray to the Lord. So somewhere I get caught up or we get a little confused about praying means then asking for something and then whether we should do it or not do it. But then you very nicely brought out the point about how we need to pray. We need to pray. We need to cry to the Lord. And we need to cry and then ask for the right thing. So that kind of clarified a lot of things. Thank you so much.
Actually, one point which I will also like to share from the life of Shabari. Shabari was an ordinary, she was a daughter of a hunter. So when she takes shelter of Matanga Muni, and she sincerely serves. Why this topic came as that Dr. Mataji, she brought up with that the cleaner. So she used to just clean around the ashrama, even though many people didn't appreciate her that much. But Matanga Muni was very much cared for her. But so when he was about to leave the world, he came and said, "Now I'm going to leave this world. What do you want from me?" But at that time, she says, "Guru Maharaj, if you are living, then what am I supposed to do here? I'll also come with you." So for that, he says, "No, you stay back. Ramchandra Bhagavan is coming. So you please serve him." So look at that austerity of every day. And she remained there. She didn't even question that. So this is what simplicity. The more we become simple in life, it is easy to execute our services. We should not become complicated. We should not go on debating this or that. Very simple thing. What does Guru say? So here what she does is, every day she is waiting. Now, how many years? She was young that time, but Ramachandra Bhagavan came on so many years. So this time duration of Kala, when Krishna represents that, you don't have to worry. That time will just come up like that. But when we are in the material aspect of Kala, then every day, 24 hours is a very big thing. How many years? So in this, every day she was meditating on Rama. Today is going to come. She used to go to the forest. Every day bring the berries, taste it and keep it. Today he will come. Today he will come. Rama came one day. So I'm just giving you the example is that one has to have patience. One has to have tolerance. 100% success is there. But that success, Krishna will give us. You don't have to wait for that success. We have to do our duty. Just continuation of how we are simple in Krishna consciousness. It will be a tremendous progress, going upwards. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this is Sankarshan Priyadas. I have one question, Prabhuji. So you mentioned about the austerities performed by Hiranyakashipu and also the austerities performed by the Prachetas. The mood in which Hiranyakashipu performed the austerities was more about himself, his sense gratification, whereas austerities performed by Prachetas was to fulfill the instructions of his father and also to follow the instructions of Lord Shiva. So as a practicing sadhaka, many times what I have seen, Prabhuji, because we are in Krishna consciousness, we tend to look down upon other people. And how to apply this principle of not getting into the Hiranyakashipu mentality, but getting into the mentality of more of Prachetas.
So this is nothing but Sevan Mukhehi Jivado. The more you take a secondary position with whoever you are with, it's not a problem, including whether our children, whether our parents, our friends. When we always take a secondary position, you can slowly overcome. So when we are doing menial services, so it will make us humbler and humbler. There is no alternative for disciplining the ego. Disciplining the ego is take this ego and put it under the lotus feet of the Supreme, our spiritual master. So just executing the service of what Srila Prabhupada gives, or his how his movement is growing. So today, in matter of time, we are going to get a beautiful temple coming up. So many services are going to come. So our only service is how to pick up one's soul from the material aspect to realm to the spiritual aspect. So that is seva. So whenever you see anybody, what seva we can do for them, it's a matter of time. So sometimes you are doing for a price, sometimes you are doing it as an obligation, sometimes you are doing with a love. But in Krishna conscious aspect, as Prahlad Maharaj says, that everyone belongs to Krishna, everybody is a part and parcel of Krishna. So how can you claim you're better than them? So this mood has to be inculcated, and that's what was there with Srila Prabhupada. Even in the nth movement, the whole, he had $1 billion empire. When he went to him, he was so humble, said, no, everything is my spiritual masters. So when you lose your own ownership, and that ownership, if you hand over to your acharyas or your superiors, then gradually you can sneak out of this the mood. But it is a practice, sadhana bhakti. That's why sadhana bhakti, that every day getting up, first of all, we have to overcome this ego of ahankar. It will always tell, hey, you are a better person, you have got money with you, you got position. It will always come and tell you. Because there it is in the money is in the pocket, you are making your decisions. Oh, abhi paisa hai, job mein kuch na kuch karunga. But when that is not there, what you will do? In the same way, you should always think Krishna's mercy I will only get through seva or Guru seva, then it is very difficult. That's why last sloka of Brahma, which I concluded by telling that he says that he was also bewildered. Because position makes anybody bewildered. Money makes everybody bewildered. Position makes anything you take in the material world will make us go haywire.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Pradana Pranams. Thank you for the wonderful, there are a lot of learnings. But one point which really touched me very much was when you talked about, having that gratitude to your parents of one birth, or, it should be family, whatever it is. But how we forget that gratitude of eternal, how Krishna has been with us. So how do we, how do we develop this particular quality of, introspecting more and more into this aspect? Because it's very, we need to get reminded again and again, but still the thing of gratitude is, it just fades very easily. So I would just like to get,
This is nothing but association of sadhus. The more you associate with sadhus and discuss with them, slowly you will. Now, you just take example. What were you before coming to ISKCON? What transformation has taken now? So certainly you have come to one stage. So here the point is Sadhu Sangha is the one which will take. Now the coming days, we have an extraordinary devotee, Rasaraj Prabhu, who was very close to, Prabhupada time. Then he got initiated. He's in PhD. So much of realization he has. He will now 3 days going to stay with us. So like Radhesham Prabhu is coming. So many people are coming. You're all good friends of yours are there. You discuss Bhagavad Gita more and more and start looking at things. What belongs to you also belongs to Krishna. So in this way, it is only by practice we can overcome this, and that practicing itself, whether you achieve it or not, don't worry, Krishna is there sitting with us. He will award that. You don't, and we have a recommendation by Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. He will take us back. But that sincere effort should be there. That little endeavor, what we are putting, that is sufficient. If there is no endeavor, it is not possible. Just like that, the sparrow, he was trying to drink the whole ocean. But Garuda Bhagavan came, and now he helped it out. In the same way, you don't have to worry. You are a son of a rich person. He has everything to give us. So in that process, we will overcome this. But nevertheless, don't worry, sadhana bhakti is the only way. Practice.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the hope. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna devotees, one gentle reminder again. Tomorrow, from today onwards, we will have the association of His Grace Krishnananda Prabhu, who will be giving class on Gaurakatha today evening, tomorrow morning, and again tomorrow evening, and on Sunday morning through Sunday feast. So there is an announcement sent by the temple management. I would request all of you to take advantage by participating in large number. Tomorrow's class will be at 8 o'clock, not at 7:15.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Any other question from any other devotees? Okay, we dropped. Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna devotees, we will end today's sessions with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindho gyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vritarashri Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'll end the Zoom session now.